Guys, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So started before we continue, let us give a thumbs up, let us subscribe, let us follow each other on my social media, and let's go. So hope you like this video. If you don't, give me your feedback, what you want to hear. I've not gotten any feedbacks lately, so yeah, let's try and be social on my medias. So anyway, yeah, so I decided what video I will do. It will be like how I coped for the first time here in the States, and I'm thinking that some of the questions someone asked me, like how was it, like how did you cope, because it's a different type of cultural shock and whatever, because I'm from Kenya and I came to the States, so it's a whole two different worlds, so anyway, let's get into that video. So first thing that I came through a green card. I know a lot of people come with the student visas and people come with visiting. So there are different things, but I came with a green card, which is a permanent residence card, which is valid for 10 years and you keep renewing it or get your citizenship after 5 years. So where do I start from? Okay, I'll just start from here, and if you want to know like some of the things they wanted to know while at the at the embassy, if you want to know stuff like that, please leave a comment and I will do that video if you want to hear that. But or you can ask me and I can tell you. But if you want to know, I'm just going to talk about how I coped and how to get your things done. So for starters, I got so you can't just work without any form of identification. I know people work with their passports, but they expect you to get here and apply for like your state ID and stuff like that you need to work. So the first thing that I did was applied for my state ID, and I also applied for my social security number. So these two things are affiliated with you either working here or you trying to get a house, trying to get a car. All these things you need these two documents, and plus your green card, because that also comes in the mail later on. So what you need is your birth certificate. You're going to need that because some other places need you to bring your birth certificate so that they can have evidence of where you were born and stuff like that, and immunization records and whatever, and all those things. But yes, I applied for my ID card and my social security number in the course of the week that I got here, and they came really fast. They come in about 2 to 3 weeks, so you get them. And so what was my experience? One, I did not see, for the area that I was living, and I'm in Dallas, so from the section that I was living in, I did not see a lot of people on foot, because most times you can walk to the store, walk to the walk to the liquor store, walk to the supermarket, because all those things back home are close by. Walk to the shops, you can do whatever you need. So I needed to, so the biggest form of movement is cars. People have their own cars, and sometimes there are buses. Some other regions of Texas don't have buses, so they have trains. It's a whole different type of thing. And so the first thing that I got interested about is the roads. The roads are so clear. Everybody's driving. Everybody gives the other person, if it's your right of way, it's your right of way, there's no confusion off the roads. None at all. Unless there's an accident and there's traffic, but there's no confusion on the roads at all. There's no, you overtake other people, but it's not as bad, Okay, and There was a lot of tall buildings too. Not saying that I was naive or anything, but it was beautiful tall buildings. And so I'll talk about the traffic. So I got my ID so I could get a job, and I needed a job in between, like in 3 months since I got here. I needed to get a job to get your own money, because you know that's the thing that makes you come to the States. You want to make money, you know. So yes, I went ahead and I was looking online. I did most of my job hunting online. So I went to Indeed, I went to I had Monster. It's an app you can download, and I had LinkedIn, jobs.com, Google, because all those things, most people post their jobs online so that you can apply there and send your or you can also apply in person. So what I did, I got to know my area. You know, there was a lot of stores in my area, there was a lot of supermarkets in my area, and there was a lot of like a lot of stores. There was the Dollar Tree, there's Walmart, there's Tom Thumb, there's Walgreens, there's CVS, there's a lot of variety of things that were around me that I could physically go and apply, but most of them will tell you to go online and do the application for yourself online. So yes, I went ahead and went to the closest store close to my house, and I went and asked what is the way to apply and whatever, and they told me you can apply in person or apply through the website. So I was there, I'm like, let me apply over here. So that is after you've gotten all your documentation, because they're gonna need that for you to get the job. So we did that, and I was asked to work the next week. So the shifts are different. I didn't have a car, so I had to walk from my house to my work, and it wasn't that far, but it got harder when it got to like summertime, because it gets really hot in Texas, and especially in Dallas mostly it got really hot during that time. So you really need a car, because you're gonna die on the road, because it gets to 100 plus heat. So that's a lot of heat. You get dry, your mouth is, if you're not hydrated, you're gonna pass out and die. So anyway, I got my job, and I got my phone. Okay, so the phone. See, now in Kenya we are used to buying, I don't know if it's a different type, but I'm feeling like it's different, because when you get your phone, you have to get a phone line and you have to get a service. So there are a variety of services. There's Sprint, there's T-Mobile, there's Straight Talk, there's a lot of things that go on. So you have to get your phone. If you want to use like T-Mobile, you have to get your phone through T-Mobile and whatever, or unlock a phone that you had. So I already had my phone, so all I needed to do was unlock it and or use Straight Talk. So most people use Straight Talk when they come to from Kenya, most of them, because it's easy. You just use it on any phone. So you just buy the card and recharge it every month, and that was hard for me, but I got used to it, because it gives you unlimited text, data, and calls when you have to fully activate your line. So if you don't do it every month, your line gets cut off and you can't renew that line. You have to get, oh, the sun is going away. But you have to renew the same. If you want to keep the line, you have to keep it active by activating and buying like service every single time. So yeah, I went ahead and did that and got myself my own cell number. I didn't have any people to talk to because the time differences. Okay, so the time difference is also something that you have to deal with, because you're so used to, and your body is still going to wake up at the same time you used to wake up in Kenya. You know, like it's, you have to balance it, and somehow you get like situated to say, and you learn how to cope with those things. And it's getting darker, so I'm just gonna turn on my light. But yes, so the sleep patterns, and okay, so I keep jumping up and down, so you're gonna get used to that. So after, because you have to have an active number for them to like communicate with you and whatever, and you have to set up an email if you don't have one and whatever. And I started my work. So the first time I started my work, I didn't know how to count the money, because the money currency is different. So I had to learn, and I had a very good supervisor who taught me how to know the difference and give back good change, because you know you're going to lose money unless they're paying with a card. Again, most people use plastic money a lot. There's barely use of cash. Most times you have to set up your bank and all these things, and all these things, when you set them up, you're going to need your identification, as I said. So most places of work send money directly to your account, or give you money directly by hand. So it depends on, or give you a check too. So I had to do all those things, and the hardest part was when I stood at the counter. I'm not gonna mention what store I was working at. So I was standing, and when I started now actively working, I knew my money and I knew how to give back change, and I was a cashier at a store. So I had my shifts, like an 8-hour shift, because you have to do 40 hours in a week to be considered full-time. And 40 hours a week is good money, because I started off getting paid at $11 an hour. So for 8 hours, get your money. For a whole week, get your money. And we're paid bi-weekly. That's every 2 weeks. So every month you get 2 payments of every week. So that's a good thing. And the currency is different, because if you consider it in Kenyan currency, you have a lot of money in your account, you know, and there's nothing you're doing unless you have a house and you're paying them bills, which now I know, because I have all of those, and I have a child too. So anyway, I was standing at my cashier desk, and okay, there's no traffic at all, even in the supermarkets, unless it's like peak hours where everybody's coming in to shop. But there's a lot of like slots, cashier slots, and everybody just comes in and checks out. And there are places where you check out if you have less than, they self-checkout. No, you can't steal, but most people do. But it's up to you if you want to get caught, because if you get caught stealing from big stores, you get banned from those stores for like 2-3 years or something like that, I think. But not that I ever did, but that's what I know from a video that I watched. So yeah. So I was standing at this cashier point, and this guy came up to me, because you have to greet, you have to be polite, you have to ask them how their day is, regardless, because they're watching, they're listening. Your supervisor walks by you every few minutes, so you have to be nice. And this guy came up to me, and he looked at me, and he was like keeping me in a conversation as I was checking him out. And he was like, where are you from? Because you have an accent. So that's the other thing that you have to get used to, because once you get here, a lot of people are going to notice your accent. A lot of people are going to notice you're a different color. A lot of people are going to notice like how you behave and whatever, your food and everything. And so he was like, oh, okay. And you do not know how, not to say uneducated, but most people don't know where Kenya is. Most people think Kenya. Do you know the videos that people see like for wildlife? That's all most of the people that I've met, that I had to actually show them pictures of buildings and houses and places in cities in Kenya, did not know. They only think about it as wildlife and animals and wild animals, which I thought was a joke at first. But then again, I feel like they should see more than that, or they should visit, because I know we have beautiful wildlife, we have beautiful other things apart from just it being a country of animals, you know. So this person just looked at me, and as he was talking to me, he was like, you have really good English. And he was like, how long have you been here? Because I noticed you have an accent, and where you from? And I was like, yada yada yada, I'm from Kenya. And he's like, oh, Kenya, where is that? And I'm like, Kenya is in Africa. I'm like, oh, Africa. So Africa is a different country. Straight up, this guy asked me if Kenya and Africa are two different countries. So I was like, no, sir. Africa, Kenya is inside Africa. And most people associate you, if you say you're from Africa, they're going to think you're Nigerian, you're Congolese, because I noticed there was a lot of Nigerians, and not being rude or anything about it, but there's a lot of Nigerians too who are in this country, and other people from, it's a diverse like mixture of everybody in here. So yeah, so he was like, where did you learn your English from? I'm like, I learned it in school, just like how y'all learn English in school. The same way. I was like, oh, okay, so you learned English back home? I was like, yeah, we get all. I'm like, and he was like, your English is way better than most of the people who live here. And I also got to realize that because we don't speak a lot of broken English, and it kind of gets to you if you keep hanging around this diverse people, and you get yourself speaking in the same way, in the same lingo that they use. So that was the first shock, like how most people are Cashiers, yeah, most people are Cashiers. They're gonna hold their door, they're not gonna let it slam in your face. They're gonna say excuse you, they're gonna let you have the right of way if you were there first. It's so organized most times, and that's what I liked about it. And most of the things, if you're talking about food, unless you're eating the bad food, like you're eating fast food, which fast food is very cheap, that's the only way you're gonna gain weight. And most times you get, most people who've been here longer, like Africans who've been here longer, have opened up stores, and they have all the Kenyan stuff, Nigerian food, whatever you want to eat. And you can buy, if you're used to that type of meal, you can get your food and go ahead. I eat ugali, I eat basic random food that I would eat in Kenya, but there's no difference. I mean, the food tastes different, but it's not as different, but it is what it is. And okay, another thing is gas. So okay, gas is like gas, I say gas because put it in a car, like fuel. Okay, so gas stroke fuel. So in Kenya, someone is always pumping fuel for you in your car. Here, you put your card in unless you're going to pay with cash. But for here, it's so easy and convenient because you don't have to wait for someone. You just drive in, park your car, swipe your card, select what type of fuel you want to use, pump your gas, finish up. Because you can't steal it. You can't steal the gas because you put in your card. So it's going to charge you for the amount that you take out, even if you decide to pump it into a tank or container. So that's another thing that was very shocking because I didn't know how to do that. And I also had not been to like car washes back home, so I don't know if it's the same thing, but I realized that some places in Kenya do have the same system for washing your car. So like washing your car is so exciting. I used to want to wash my car every day, but that's money you're spending, sis. So rather not. You can't unless you have your own home. I think is when you can wash your own car with water and whatever you want to do, like typically home. But here you can't wash it if you're living in an apartment complex because people are going to complain of the water, and that's just weird. So yeah, you drive in, you pay, you drive in, and you put your car in neutral, and it moves and it gets washed and it gets dried, and someone else comes out and dries the wet areas of your car, and you drive out. most foods, you drive in to a drive-through, buy your food. All those things are so exciting for me, but then again, after you get used to it, you're just like, you know, it is what it is. So if anything, don't. Okay, so again, before I end this video, I wanted to say, if you're coming to the States, be prepared for anything, because you're not going to exactly get a job immediately. You're not going to like just jump in and get, unless you have those things that I said. You need your social security number, you need your green card, and you need your ID, your state ID, to do any type of job. Plus again, for those like who have expanded in their education and whatever, if you've gone to college for like accounting and whatever, I'm sure you can get jobs like that if you provide credits. So if you transfer your transcripts into credits for them to understand how far you've like accomplished in your studies, then you can get that type of job. But it's hard. You have to typically go to school here for you to get those types of jobs, because like it's not going to be the same. So again, if you're coming to the States, you need the right advice from the right people. You have to have good family system and everything. You also have to have discipline, because you don't know what's going to put you in trouble. You know, if someone is in a fight, most times people go to see what they're fighting for, but in that fight someone might have a gun and you get shot, you know. So most times, just keep to yourself until you discover your background and like your surroundings and how to cope with it. If anything, have good family system, because I've heard a lot of people get brought here, you get the green card and whatever, whoever helped you to get your paperwork, it's gonna abandon you at the airport and you gotta figure it out, sis. And most people end up on the streets and whatever and begging, and that's not a good picture. So make sure you have the right people to advise you. Do not go into bankruptcy, because that's easy for you to get into. Do not go into stealing, because that's also easy. If you are really wanting something and you think someone's not looking, someone is looking, especially if you are of a different color. So please make sure that whoever who comes, you have good communication with whoever who's picking you up. You have someone to help you pace up, so immediately you get situated, you get your job, you get your paperwork, you get everything settled, you get your own place to live in, because all these things are good to say that you have your own place, then you're living with someone else. So all these things are good things that you would want for yourself. You can get a car, you can get everything. Most of the things like cars, you can get them if you have good credit, and good credit is built up when you have a good credit card and you keep paying as they give you. It's a whole different story. But so if you want that story on how to build your credit, also let me know, because I also had to learn it the hard way. So for those who are in the States and they're trying to build their credit, let me know so I can give you some tips that I also learned along the way. And yeah, if there's anything else you'd want to hear from me, or any other story that you want to hear from me, I'm going to post this, and y'all give me your feedback. If it was helpful, if I jumped from one scene to another, excuse me, because that's how I always kind of operate. So, and I'm trying to make sure that the sunlight doesn't go away, so that I'm looking dark, I'm looking light. It's confusing. So yeah, but if anything, be patient. Not all the time. And I just did that again. So I enlisted in the military. If you want to hear that story, let me know, because I'm going to do that as well, so that you know how I got myself to enlist in the military and how I got out, because that's also a good story. And yeah, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Remember to follow me on my social medias if you like. But for anything else, if you want to hear me, follow me on my social medias, like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video. Let's get to 150, as I said, and let's get it kicking. So till I see you next time, bye bye.